Rashford hit it well. Oh, amazing!
No.
Oh, that's Ronaldo-esque.
What's good, everybody? We've been gone for a little bit, but we're back and we're talking transfers. But I got my boy Vishnu here with me. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, man? It's been a minute since we've done one of these. A
It
little bit
has.
rusty, I think, but then we'll be back at it. Don't worry, guys.
We'll be back, and Vishnu's got a new fucking haircut, dude.
Yes. I'm just trying to emulate my David De Gea so he can stay as much as possible.
And
That's
we'll
very
be
good
talking
stuff.
about David De Gea today. We'll be talking about Dean Henderson, but today we're going to be covering. There's a lot of players linked with United right now, and we need to strengthen in a lot of areas. So we're going to go through all the transfer rumors and see what we think is actually going to happen and whether we actually want it to happen. And we're starting with Gabriel, the Lille defender. He's about 22 or 23. Has been close to signing with Arsenal, but it seems like a lot of new clubs are coming in. Napoli's coming in. Man City is potentially coming in, and United seems to be sneaking in there right now. Vishnu, bro, what do you think about this one?
I think it's a touch and go, to be honest, because there's a lot of sources that saying that Arsenal have already finalized a 5-year deal, and he's just waiting to undergo a medical with them. So we never know. Like maybe in the next 2-3 days that it might be announced. But I still think that if if he's choosing to go to Arsenal, I don't see why he shouldn't come to United, to be honest. But he's a good defender. He's a strong lad. He's only 22, I think. He's a young kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
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 So I think that if you linked with still the likes of, I think Everton's also in the race. Napoli, like you mentioned, I think personally I would start him ahead of Lindelof in many games as much as possible, because I want that pairing of Maguire and if he does come, Maguire and Gabriel to sort of take it forward. Like we start off with both of them in the season so that they can build a rhythm together. And because we don't have a lot of turnaround time for the new league to start.
Yeah, I think Lindelof would be a great off the bench option. He'd be amazing. We saw him fuck up against Sevilla in the Europa League, but I think Gabriel's, it's kind of an interesting deal because it's so dependent on a few things. It's dependent on Koulibaly really a lot, because if Koulibaly goes to Man City, then Napoli is going to get in heavy for this defender. But if he doesn't, United might actually go after Koulibaly as well. So we kind of are putting our hands in both courts to see who we can get. I think Koulibaly would be our first option. And to be honest, I prefer him. He's a seasoned vet. He's 29 years old. He will carry us through the next few years when we need a solid defense. So if I had my pick, I would pick Koulibaly. He got railed by Messi against Barcelona, but I think he's still very, very high quality.
Yeah, I think that was one of his lowest moments of his career as well. He just got completely reduced to next to nothing by Leo Messi. And Messi's been doing this for a long time, but I don't see that affecting his confidence at all. It happens to the best of us. You saw PK got run over the other day completely. And so I think Koulibaly would be a primary choice. He's a great striker of the ball. He can hit the ball a long way, long range shots. And I want to see more of our defenders score goals, because this year we barely saw that happen. Our defenders did not score as many goals as we would have liked. And you have the likes of Trent from the right hand side. He's outscoring a lot of our United forwards. And that's the scary part, we want someone the amount of goals that we've scored this year is big credit to Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood. But then we need the other people to step up as well, as much as possible. So Koulibaly, man, yeah, definitely, I'd love him inside.
I think Koulibaly would be huge, but unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Man City will close that. They need a center back so badly, and I think Pep will literally just be fuck this, I'm leaving if you don't get me Koulibaly.
No, but I feel like they already bought Ake, right, for a good amount. So and I think it's Pep's mentality to sort of build another defense. The famous 170 million transfers that he made on Stones, Otamendi, and Zinchenko, and all these guys.
Mendy.
I think he's just doing it again. Yeah, Mendy. So
Yeah,
I
he
hope
needs
he
to.
doesn't, because that would suck, man. If Koulibaly's coming, blocking the shots of like Greenwood and stuff, that'll suck a lot. I'd really like him in my side.
Yeah, he's an absolute tank. But I could see City just going all out on defense because they don't need too many attackers. They may need one forward to replace Sane, but other than that, they're still, pretty fucking stacked. So I could see
Yeah.
them going for Koulibaly. I don't see him coming to Man United for some reason. I don't see Gabriel coming to Man United either because he's so advanced with Arsenal. But the last center back / left back that's linked to us, which is strange as hell, but I would pounce so hard on this, is David Alaba. Bro, talk about him. He's going to the he's playing in the finals tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's looking to leave.
I don't know where this rumor came from. Like, let's say one of the leading defenders in the Europa Champions League final is gonna come join United next year. That like is a fairy tale. Like I don't see any truth behind this at all. But at the same time, man, like if we're already talking hypothetically, like let's bring him on. Why not? Because that would be a killer signing as well. And with his experience with Bayern Munich, coming into United and taking that position that Luke Shaw, it allows maybe Luke Shaw to go up front a little bit too. Williams will have to sit out, which I'm okay with. And yeah, man, we'll be so strong in that left side. Imagine David Alaba like assisting and doing a proper wing back and like passing it to Rashford. That link up sounds really good as well. And I really think we need to invest in at least one solid defender more than anyone else.
He'd be incredible. He can play center back and he's fast, which Maguire isn't. He can play left back and go boom forward. He can play center defensive mid, and he's even played on the wing before. So I think David Alaba is, if he's available, apparently he's rejected a contract offer from Bayern Munich. I don't know why. Maybe he's just holding out for more money. But in my opinion, if David Alaba is free, we fucking invest a shit ton and make sure he comes to United.
Sure.
On to the next transfer. So we're talking David Brooks from Bournemouth. And the numbers are around 40 million for David Brooks. Off a team that just got relegated. He scored 1 goal this season. He was injured for most of the season. I really like him because I watched his season the previous season. And he was brilliant last year. But this recent season wasn't his fucking best. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, at the start of the year as well, I had Brooks in my fantasy squad. I thought that he would do really well because he's a young lad. He's only like 22, 23, I'm guessing.
23.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right, though. The 2018-19 season was like far better for him than this year. For being like Bournemouth's, like, I don't see him as a replacement for Sancho at all by any means, because that's a wrong way to look at things. Like I'd take him and sell off James, like if we can do that. Sorry for the hate, James. It's just not good enough, mate. No, but like this, he scored I think he scored 9 goals last year, and it's obviously not enough for his team to be still atop in the Premier League standings. They've been relegated now, so 40 million is like shambolic.
For a relegated player, it doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense. We paid like this. The way to look at this is like we paid only like about 45 for Bruno.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would we pay 40 million for David Brooks? But he's fast though. I can see that. Like I can see the link up at play between Wan-Bissaka, between Pogba, who tends to sort of like hover around the right midfield position nowadays when Bruno's still like going ahead. So I think that Brooks, regardless, he'd be a sensational signing. But if the price is right, 40 million, get out of here.
Bro, he's 15 to 20 million for sure. He's someone to come off the bench. He's a better version of Dan James. That's what it is. He's a better version of someone coming off the bench who could give us options at the end. He's kind of like a Todd Cantwell that we've all been looking at as well, who would just be amazing to have off the bench because he can do something. But 40 million, I'm not even going to talk more on that. That's just not there. I do like him, but let's just move on. So The next big news is that Dean Henderson is looking to sign a huge contract, £100,000 a week, which would make him one of the top paid goalkeepers in the fucking world, and would keep him at United for the next 5 years. So this one's an interesting one because there's so many things at play. There's David De Gea. Is he going to keep the number one? There's, do we loan him back out somewhere? Because Sheffield has already bought Bournemouth's keeper. I forgot his Ramsdale.
Yeah.
So he can't go back to Sheffield, and he'd have to go somewhere else. And then what do we do with Romero? Because he's also there. So this is just a weird situation. What would you do if you were in Ollie's shoes, Vishnu?
I would slowly ease him into the role. I would keep him for sure. Like, I think Dean Henderson is our future Man United goalkeeper. And the fact that he hasn't, like, he's been recalled, like, his loan is finished. He was training at Carrington yesterday, I think, in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So it's good for him to be in that environment already, like, to get his, like, I hope Ollie's not just trying to, like, get his hopes up and just, like, bench him for the rest of the season, because that would absolutely suck. But I really think that he should shadow De Gea as much as possible, and they need to, like, take turns playing a lot more, because I feel like this is a one. I understand the whole point of, like, having two goalkeepers and you keep switching them around, like what Chelsea did with Kepa. But I think it's important that happens so that Dean Henderson could eventually, just slowly take up the first role, and then let De Gea take care of all the other games, like the FA Cup, the Europa, and all that. Or, like, which I don't know which will happen, because, like, De Gea doesn't seem like he's leaving the club anytime soon. So the only way to, like, do it is through, like, slowly phase him out. Give this year a chance for both of them to play. So say that we play about 50 to 55 games a year, I'd love Dean Henderson to play at least 20 of those. Even if De Gea is still like number one, like, Dean Henderson should be getting constant chances in the Premier League, in the FA Cup, in, like, whatever competition that they've decided amongst themselves, like, what Ollie has in mind for that. But that would be the first step of just saying, all right, Dean, like, you're our full-time in the following season after that. Because if we can't come up with a deal for that, he's gone, mate. Like, again, he's just gonna find another club to play for.
I honestly think that we shouldn't do that, and I think that because in defense, I feel you need a common goalkeeper. You need someone that you know what they're thinking, that you know where they want you to go, and all this kind of stuff. But if we keep battling them, I think it won't work. It'll be unstable at the back. My thought is, what you do is you sign Dean Henderson to a 5-year contract. Great. You loan him out somewhere else. David De Gea has one more chance. And if David De Gea does great, as well as Dean Henderson does great, you may be able to sell David De Gea at the end of the year. But if we phase him out, no one's going to buy him for anything. He's going to be fucking cheap as hell.
Yeah.
But if he does well, and maybe Dean Henderson does shit and proves that he can't, then we can just sell him off as well. So I personally wouldn't replace David De Gea, or even try to slowly do it, because we just won't get money back for him.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
On to the next kind of weirdly quiet piece of news. Jadon Sancho it's just very flat. Dortmund have come out very strong. It's 120 million or nothing. And it seems like Man United are very, very hesitant to do that. But there's no other options. Like, we're talking about Brooks and stuff like that. Who else could we even go for? There's nobody.
Yeah, this is gonna be like the whole Igalo situation all over again, isn't it? And, like, if I don't know who's behind it, or I'm guessing it's Woodward right now. So if you're listening to this, Woodward, fuck you, all right? Get this deal sorted. Like, I just want this needs to, like, stop, man. Like, we just need to, like, splash out because we can, and at least get sorted, because you know for a fact that this player is gonna change the way that United play. It's gonna fit into a team. And like how Solskjaer talks about Pogba, about building a team around him, we could probably do the same with Jadon Sancho as well, Like, we can plug in a bit more, like, midfielders. I know you're a big fan of Grealish, so that'll be the next step. But, like, if we're dragging out just Sancho from now for the next, like, 3 or 4 weeks, and at the end of the at the end of the transfer window, we didn't even manage to get him. And we just get a replacement such as, your David Brooks. Or even if you're looking at like professionals, like if you're looking for serious replacements, just go for it, go for Donny Van de Beek. Get all these guys who like will start getting into the club and just start playing with the players already, because you need those kind of preseason routines with your teammates. You need to play to understand the chemistry. You need to play to understand the formation, the strategies that are in place, what is expected of you from the team. And all this is like quite important. And if we're just running around like headless chickens and not making these transfers from now to like, you're going to have a bad start to the season already, because that's already dented a lot of the expectations that we have for next season.
I agree. I think it's simple. Pay it. Dortmund aren't going to change because they know that they don't need to sell the player. They have enough money, from previous sales from Ousmane Dembele and stuff like that. They're not going to sell. And next year, if he does well and the economy opens up more and more, he's going to be more expensive because he still has 2 years left on his deal after that. So it's really silly. And Jadon Sancho can be a cornerstone for 10 years. Let's just fucking seal the deal and get it going. 120 is much cheaper than he will be next year.
Yeah.
On to the final person that we're going to talk about. This has kind of been a random. You talked about him in a very old video. And randomly on Reddit, I saw him linked to United. ESPN had something about how United are potentially trying to get in there. Edison Cavani. Bro, I'll let you take away because I know you love this guy.
Man, I love Cavanni. What a legend, dude. Like this guy, I mean, he's a bit old. Let's start with his negatives. He's a bit old. He's not gonna really adapt to the first team. But I don't think he should play the first team anyway. It'll be we need a proper sub, someone coming off the bench in the 60th minute that Ollie trusts and goes like, all right, yo, I need some firepower from you. I need you to like really, really push the defenders behind as much as possible so that the other guys can take shots or goals. And I need you to be like one brutal force in that CF position when the likes of Martial or Greenwood or Rashford, they're not tired. So like this guy, it's got to be Cavanni, dude. Like it works perfectly because he's going to be on a free transfer. We don't have to, his salary might be a bit expensive considering that he's spent a long span of his career in PSG. But he is a fucking tank as well. Like this is like what we're looking at how when Zlatan joined United, in his later stages, but then he still have an effect. I don't know how successful he's going to be because he has slowly died down from the PSG team as well. He hasn't been scoring a lot there. So in the France league, which is just, not a lot of competition, but then you have the same in the Premier League where every game, is in the balance. You don't know what's going to happen. This guy could be our Chicharito. This guy could be our Solskjaer, who comes off the bench, scores those like important goals because he is a big time player as well. He's played a lot of he has a vast experience in playing big games. He's won the league with PSG for I think 5 seasons in a row or something like that. And I think he'll fit right in, man. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, dude, to be honest, the only thing I'd be worried about is he's 33. He'd probably be asking for a 3-year contract, which would take him to 36. And he'd be paid high as fuck. And he's already got injuries. That's my issue. But the quality of Cavani, I have no questions, right? If we can get him on a 2-year deal and he's fine with that and he wants to move to the MLS after that, fucking great. Yeah. He's a world-class striker in his day. Maybe not now when he's slowed down a bit because Icardi came in. He still looks athletic. He still looks like a beast. Amazing to have off the bench. He will push Rashford. He will teach Rashford. He will teach Martial. He will teach Greenwood. So without a doubt, I'd be happy to get him as long as it's a fucking 2-year deal, not a 3-year deal. He'd be too old. But
agreed,
Vishnu, I think that's a good place to wrap up. We talked about a lot of transfers today. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you think Gabriel, Koulibaly, Alaba, Dean Henderson, fucking Brooks, Jadon Sancho, and Cavanni. Which ones do you think should come to United? Which ones don't you think should come to United? Let us know in the comment section below. We'd love to hear what you're talking about. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Rashford hit it well. Oh, amazing!
no.
Oh, that's Ronaldo-esque.